see here.
You get it close.
Absolutely. Let me squat down here. So I can draw some squiggles, all sorts of shapes. And of course, my favorite, woo, the smiley face.
That's awesome. Welcome to Outdoor Madness, everyone. I am Kerry Clark. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. Well, all right, guess where we are today? We are in Montana, and we're getting ready to take a tour of the Lewis and Clark Caverns. Now, the price for the tour that we're taking, which is the Paradise Tour, is $15 for adults and $10 for youth. Now, there's other tours you can take, but we're only going to concentrate on the Paradise Tour because that's the one we're taking today. But now here's something. Did you know that Lewis and Clark did not discover the Lewis and Clark Caverns? Even though they're named after them. Isn't that something? Well, today we're going to find out why.
But all the way in the distance, normally you can see a cell phone tower on top of that mountain. Lewis would have passed over that mountain and through this valley below us. Clark would have traveled all the way down in the canyon by the Jefferson River. They did meet back up where our modern day campsite is, but they actually had no idea that the cave was up here. The reason for that is they took really detailed notes of everything they saw. So all the birds and animals and bugs they would have written about, and they also mapped a bunch of streams and valleys. So had they seen our cave, they absolutely would have written about it in their journals, and they would have marked it on a map, and they did neither of those things. So that's kind of how we know that they weren't the ones who discovered this cave. Our second most common guess is Native Americans.
Aha! So you would think that the Native Americans were the ones who discovered the caverns. I mean, just think about this. They hunted on this land years and years before anyone else was here. In fact, they told stories of how they saw steam coming up out of the mountain. But history says they weren't the ones who discovered the caverns.
So before I forget, you guys are more than welcome to take photos and videos. And you're also more than welcome to use flash. The thing with flash is just kind of be mindful of people around you. That's really all I ask with that. But this right here is our grand finale room. This is the room where our tour starts and the classic tour ends.
Now, the reason the caverns are called the Lewis and Clark Caverns is because they overlook for a distance of over 50 miles the trail of Lewis and Clark along the Jefferson River. But the question still lies, who discovered the caverns? Okay, so here we go. Charles Brooke and Mexican John, both from Whitetail, Montana, discovered the cave entrance in 1882. They had heard of the great caves from local Indian legend and set out to look for them. But they didn't tell many people about their discovery. Well, 10 years later, in 1892, two hunters discovered the cave entrance when they noticed a plume of steam coming out of the cave. These men were Tom Williams and Bert Pennell. Tom wanted to explore the caverns, and 6 years later, he finally did, using ropes to rappel and candles for lighting. So quiet.
Do the stalactites ever fall down?
That's a great question. So, not really. It does take a lot of force to break these formations because other than the soda straws, they're all solid on the inside. Some of these are broken. We'll kind of start with that. So like these ones up here above the stairs are called the organ pipes. These were broken from when the CCC was blasting that exit tunnel. So when they did that, they went from the outside in, and that tunnel is 538 feet. They blasted a foot a day, so it took them 18 months to blast that entire tunnel. And before they did that last dynamite blast to get into the Paradise Room, they wanted to make sure that they didn't break any of these formations.
So why did they call it the Paradise Room?
That's a good question. I don't know the exact reason. I would think it's because this is the fastest growing room of the cave. So there's a lot more moisture in this room than the rest of the cave, and because it's so beautiful too.
A lot of different colors.
Yes. When things glow under black light, it's called fluorescence. What I want to show you is something called phosphorescence. So for that, I'm going to shine my light on the top of this rock right here. And feel free to scoot closer if you need to, because I want everybody to watch the top of this rock. We'll hold it here for a couple seconds. Are you okay seeing in the back? Do you need to scoot? Because when I turn my light off, my rock can keep glowing for just a little bit. So I'll show you again and I'll kind of explain a little bit of what's happening. So again, this is called phosphorescence. What's happening is that my light is energy. When I give my energy to that rock, the electrons that are in those minerals are going to move up in energy level. They're going to have a whole bunch of extra energy that they didn't before. They're going to be dancing, going to have a little party. When I stop giving my rock energy, or when I turn my light off, those electrons have to move back down to their original energy level. And to do that, they have to give off all of that excess energy that they just collected. So they're going to give it off in the form of light. So that's why our rock is going to keep glowing a little bit after I've shown my light on it. And I can use my black light to draw things on my rock.
Oh, neat.
I can draw hearts and stars. My favorite thing to draw is a smiley face. I'm not a very good artist, so I have limited things I can draw. And maybe I'll put an L for Lauren. But this is sort of the same, anything that glows in the dark is using phosphorescence. Now Atlas glows purple and green because there is iron that's in our calcite. That's what causes the green color. Any purple is just normal calcite. If you were to go in any other cave that had different minerals in that calcite, it might glow bright pink or orange or yellow, but our caves will always glow purple and green. As you can see, those helictites up there are that bright green. These stalactites are bright green. I think the black light is the coolest part.
Yeah, it is. It's neat. Well, there you have it, you guys. The Lewis and Clark Caverns in Montana. So the best thing to do is to go onto their website. All you have to do is punch in Lewis and Clark Caverns in Montana, and when the website pops up, it will let you know when the tours are, because they only do the tours during certain times of the year. I'm Kerry Clark for Outdoor Maddness. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you know the story. I will see you somewhere in the great outdoors.